lot for the enrichment kids too. And so there's going to be like 15, 20 kids in there.
Yeah, I'll make sure. When we're recording, this is live, so we ask that you not whisper. If you need to whisper or talk, please leave the room because it changes the feed. Everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Laughlin. Here. Donnie. Here. Contact. Here. Critic. Yes. Olson, yes. Gann.
Yes.
Zimmer.
Yes.
Mr. Gut.
Here.
Is your camera on?
My camera doesn't work, but I can see her.
Let me sit down. You're in my heels here. Okay, I want to recognize all your visitors. Thank you. We just finished our walk around, so that was very reflective and informative. So I appreciate that. We'll have public speaking at the end.
Joe, your name, we want to have you come up and just talk to us a little bit about this.
Do you want us to do that now?
Yeah.
So if you want to stay closer to them so they can hear you.
Okay, so Joe and I together, the foundation was nice enough to do a STEM day for us. So to sponsor that. So Joe and I worked together and brought in a mobile STEM lab called Mobile Production. And Joe worked with LP and kind of turned it also into a career day and a Star Lab day. So we had a very busy day. Do you want to tell them what LP had?
Yeah, so besides the K through 6 doing the mobile science lab or student day, we also invited Boston to be involved. So Boston brought their great school. We did talk to a couple other schools too, but because of school spring breaks and some other things, it didn't work out for this year. But we did the STEAM lab here with the STAR lab also. LP and the ACC were nice enough to give some of our students some time off. So actually we had a welding station set up here, a table set up with some machine elements of the machine shop. We had a student from another Tonica, former Tonica student, Megan Hoover was here and did fire science and some EMR training that goes on at the Career Center. Christian Konzak was here with some of his things that he's making and also with some support from machinery maintenance of the staff. And so we were able to bring in some students to talk to other young students about what they're learning at the Career Center. With that, then we took the 7th and 8th grade students from Lawson, Tonica, and Oglesby was able to send their 7th graders that day. They were able to go to the Career Center and Center, then they were able to go through a whole bunch of different other classes and courses that we work with. So one of the big things in education currently is what we call pathways. And it's taking the education that's learned at the grade school and junior high level, making a path for into the high school level, which then hopefully will feed into either career and or college education in STEAM technology and engineering and those things. So very fortunate with the help of the foundation. We brought in the STEAM through their funds. We had a few donations to add to that, and hopefully what we're going to do is be able to make this more of an annual thing with more the STEAM based, with the career part of it going over to the career center to see, let the students see what is at the next level. As we all know, currently manufacturing is on high demand, and it is also bringing high paid jobs to our area. And most of these jobs, like Vector, machinery maintenance, HCC in Mendota, they have good benefit packages for their students, or for their employees, and they're hiring a lot of our students. So I think it's very important. I know we're talking about adding a makerspace here. We have a 3D printer that is set up that is already owned by Tonica, and I believe there's going to be some more funds put towards that makerspace. We want to get the students in that hands-on learning. When you get people involved with their hands, when they actually get to make the products, when they're actually seeing the final results, it really does get students more involved with the math and the science that we want them to have. So
Definitely. In Vector, if you guys look in your slideshow, I put a picture in there. They had actually like a virtual sprayer that they actually teach their employees to use to learn to paint, to spray. So our kids actually, kindergartners, they allow them to use this very expensive virtual machine. So we really appreciate all of that. And the STEAM, the kids loved it. Like every area was hands-on. Absolutely loved it. The foundation paid for the printer. If you look on Facebook, you can see it running. So we made some Tonica and Austin keychains. Joe had somebody who set up the software for us, and it ran, so the kids watched that run. I think it was a great day, awesome, all the way around. Yeah. We had awesome volunteers too.
Yeah,
Awesome. So thank you to the volunteers and.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was a wonderful experience for everybody.
Yeah, thanks to Amy. I just wanted to say thanks to Amy and Joe. I know they put in a lot of time on it. Like you said, the volunteers, I think you listed them on Facebook, right? Or some of them, but we probably should make sure we
I put pictures of them on Facebook. I did not name each person, but I did make sure that pictures were on there.
Okay.
And what we're hoping to do is even more, hopefully in the future, with more students. Like I said, 2 of the students were former graduates with Tonica, and that's why we thought it was real important to bring them back, so that way the younger students can see the progression of where these students have gone. And a lot of these students, one of the students was a Lawson student who actually is doing an internship at Vector currently, and when it turns 18, we'll be able to go on full time. So there's a lot of good employment. Christian currently is working as an intern with his father up at machinery maintenance. And machinery maintenance is actually where I got my skill, and they gave me my opportunity to work in industry. In the last year, we placed 3 or 4 students up there. They're currently looking for a student until we introduced the student to them, and now they're looking to take another student that was here on their field crew. So there's a lot of good employment in our area, but it is very important. These employers need the students to come with certain skill levels, and it is the STEM-based skill levels, to be able to read the blueprint, to be able to read a tape measure, to be able to have some problem solving, some critical skill thinking, and that's where, as students can do, I know they did a robot project in the past with their your tech coach, and those are good things, because when they put something together and it doesn't work, that's actually better. for them, because then they have to do the problem solving, take the things apart, try it again, and that's why we want to add more to this STEM lab or maker space, to give the kids that hands-on experience, and hopefully that'll feed into many more things outside of just industry and we appreciate the foundation for supporting that, and I know the board is all part of the school and hopes that happen too. Matt's part of our group, and Mr. Ketchum's on that group too, so hopefully we see more in the future.
Definitely.
So,
Thank you.
Look at this stuff. Yeah, okay, you want me to move this now? Or move it down? Which you want me to do it now? Okay, so we're gonna go over the consent agenda. This is approval or release of minutes of the March regular meeting, executive session, notes from the March working session. We're still working on the mission statement, so we might have to regroup. We'll talk about that later. And notes from the April 7th insurance meeting, the bills, the treasurer's report, staff reimbursements. Do you want to talk about the FOIA requests?
Yeah, so we had several FOIA requests. These are AI-driven FOIA requests that pretty much every school in the county has gotten these, maybe even outside of the county. FOIA requests normally don't take this much time to sift through and manage, but this took a significant amount of time to manage. But each of them have been responded to.
So are you getting these for both schools?
Yes.
That's
Yep.
okay. And any questions on the consent agenda? Can I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Zimmer,
Yes.
McLaughlin,
Yes.
Bernardoni,
Yes.
Konzak,
Yes.
Riddick,
Yes.
Olson, yes, Gans.
Yes.
I assume you take it from here.
So this is
Okay, so we have a review of canvas of election votes, Tonic Grade School District 79, number of precincts, 6, precincts reporting 600%, the vote for 4, total votes 1,344, Brenda Bernardoni 374 votes, Matt Gantz 331, Nick McLaughlin 323, Jared Olson 316, and then this is undervote. I don't know what that means, 440. Probably the amount of people that did not vote, please vote. So, should we approve that? We're not voting on it, okay. All right, you take over.
Seating new, next thing we'll seat new members and read the oath of office.
Do we need to adjourn?
Okay.
After the seating, I think.
Matt would be Jared. Would be
Okay,
Brenda,
do we have them
would be-
stand together or just sit where they're at?
Sit with them, yeah,
Oh.
that's fine.
Okay, so I just,
There's a copy linked into the agenda. There should be a copy in your packet as well.
I can read after me. Okay. I'm gonna read a little bit at a time so we can all keep up. So, I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of member of the Board of Education of Conica CCSD 79 in accordance with the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and the laws of the State of Illinois to the best of my ability.
This will be,
So now you
So we repeat it together?
yeah.
All right. I, Matt Gans, do solemnly swear to affirm that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of a member of the Board of Education of Tonica School 79. In accordance with the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and laws of the State of Illinois to the best of my ability.
Okay, I further swear or affirm that I shall respect taxpayers' interests by serving as a faithful protector of the school district's assets. I'll just take them one at a time unless you want me to.
Do you want us to just read them all?
Yeah, I think I read it. I read it.
Oh, you have to, okay. I further swear to protect taxpayer interests by serving as a faithful protector of the school district's assets.
I shall encourage and respect the free expression of opinion by my fellow board members and others who seek a hearing before the board while respecting the privacy of students and employees.
I shall encourage and respect the free expression of my opinion of my fellow board members and others who seek a hearing before the board while respecting the privacy of students and employees.
I shall recognize that a board member has no legal authority as an individual and that decisions can be made only by the majority vote at a public board meeting.
I shall recognize that a board member has no legal authority as an individual and that decisions can be made only as a majority vote at a public board meeting.
I shall abide by majority decisions of the board while retaining the right to seek changes in such decisions through ethical and constructive channels.
I shall abide by the majority decisions of the board while retaining the right to seek changes in such decisions through ethical and constructive channels.
As part of the Board of Education, I shall accept the responsibility for my role in the equitable and quality education of every student in the school district.
As part of the Board of Education, I shall accept the responsibility for my role in the equitable and quality education of every student in the district.
I shall foster with the board extensive participation of the community, formulate goals, define outcomes, and set the course for Tonica CCSD 79.
I shall foster with the board extensive participation of the community, formulate goals, define outcomes, and set the course for Tonica CCSD 79.
I shall assist in establishing a structure and an environment designed to ensure all students have the opportunity to attain their maximum potential through a sound organizational framework.
I shall assist in establishing a structure and an environment designed to ensure all students have the opportunity to attain their maximum potential through a sound organizational framework.
I shall strive to ensure a continuous assessment of student achievement in all conditions affecting the education of our children in compliance with state law.
I shall strive to ensure a continuous assessment of student achievement in all conditions affecting the children of our children in compliance with state law.
I shall serve as education's key advocate on behalf of the students in our community school or schools to advance the vision for Tonica CCSD 79.
I shall serve as education's key advocate on behalf of students in our community schools to advance the vision for the Tonica CCSD 79.
I shall strive to work together with the district superintendent to lead the school district toward fulfilling the vision the board has created, fostering excellence for every student in the areas of academic skills, knowledge, citizenship, and personal development.
I shall strive to work together with the district superintendent to lead the school district toward fulfilling the vision of the board has created, fostering excellence in every student in the areas of academic skill, knowledge, citizenship, and personal development.
All right, thank you very much. So I need a motion to adjourn Sine Die.
I will make the motion.
Roll call?
McLaughlin.
Yes.
Rudoni. Johnson.
Yes.
Riddick.
Yes.
Olson, yes. Gans.
Yes.
Zimmer.
Yes.
Okay. So we need to adjourn. All right, so we're gonna adjourn and we're gonna go to the library so you guys don't have to move. No, we're not
We
adjourning.
need to reorganize the
Okay.
meeting's called to order.
All right, reorganize. I thought we didn't do it. Okay, we're gonna reorganize the regular meeting called to order.
So just do a roll call.
Roll call, Jared?
McLaughlin.
Yes.
Rudoni. Conzak.
Yes.
Riddick.
Yes.
Olson, yes. Gans.
Yes.
Zimmer.
Yes.
Mr. Ketchum.
Yes.
Um,
So we need to install me as the president. Pro tem.
all right, so we need to appoint, I motion to appoint Bob as president pro tem.
A second.
Roll call.
1 second.
I don't think,
We didn't need a first and second on that. Rudoni.
Yes.
Conzak.
yes,
Riddick.
Yes.
Olson, yes. Gans.
Yes.
Zimmer.
we don't do
Yes.
this very often.
McLaughlin.
Yes.
At this point, I'll take nominations for board president.
Nomination.
Oh. I'm sorry, 1 second.
The nomination on the floor at this point is Konzak.
Who was first and second? I'm sorry. Gotcha. Riddick.
Yes.
Olson, yes. Gans.
Yes.
Zimmer.
Yes.
McLaughlin.
Yes.
Rudoni. Conzak.
Yes,
Okay, motion passes. Konzak is board president. We have a nomination for board vice president.
I nominate Julie.
I second.
Okay, roll call.
Olson, yes. Gans,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes. Oh, I know.
McLaughlin,
Yeah.
Yes.
Bernadoni, Conzak,
Yes.
Riddick.
Yes.
I have a nomination for board secretary.
I'd like to nominate Matt Gans.
I'll second.
Sorry, I'm looking for it. 1 second. Who seconded?
I do.
Okay, roll call.
Conzak,
Yes.
Riddick,
Yes.
Olson, yes. Gans,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
McLaughlin,
Yes.
Bernadoni.
Yes.
Okay, we have a board president as Jennifer Konzak, vice president Julie Zimmer, and secretary Matt Gans. So then we'll go on to 11.
Okay, establishment of regular meeting dates and places. A motion to adopt the regular calendar, and I believe we discussed moving board meetings to here each month. Can I have a motion on that?
I'll second.
Roll call when you're ready.
Yeah, McLaughlin,
Yes.
Bernadoni, Konzak,
Yes.
Riddick,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Gans, yes. Zimmer,
Yes.
Appointment of other board offices, motion to appoint. Does anybody want to be the IASP governing board? I think I did it. I didn't really have to do
This
anything.
is something that meets once, maybe twice a year with the IASB governing board.
I can
At
keep
the fall
it.
conference would be one and probably one other time.
sounds like a good job for the president. I
Okay.
nominate
Well, I
Jen.
think you guys had the motion. Then.
Oh, I motion to appoint Jen.
There you go.
Second,
Roll call, please.
All right, McLaughlin,
Yes.
Bernadoni,
Yes.
Konzak,
Yes.
Riddick,
Yes.
Olson,
yes.
Gans, yes. Zimmer,
Yes.
Okay, so we have 4 established board committees.
Now, if there are no changes, if nobody wants to change committees, then we can stay the same. Then that's no problem.
Do you have a list of who's on what?
I do, those are embedded in your.
Oh.
Today's not the day.
I can tell you building and grounds would be Jared and
Julie, I think.
Julie, okay. Strategic planning was Jennifer and who else?
Sarah.
Sarah.
I don't think we ever assigned the other two.
The other two were not assigned yet, correct?
Created them.
Anybody want to pick one? Otherwise, we'll wing it. We'll just,
I can-
parent teacher advisory, anybody?
I'll do it.
Sorry, what?
Parent teacher advisory?
What is it?
Sure.
What are we doing?
It's new, well,
Yeah,
it's
we
new for
haven't
us.
had that, it hasn't been.
And we need 2. Sarah, you?
Sure.
Behavior? Maybe a good mix would be, well, I don't know, unless you want to, you know,
I'd be very happy to be on behavior.
2 of you want to do behaviors? Okay.
Brenda,
and
Jared. Okay, I don't think we have to vote on that. so.
Okay.
No.
All right, going on to financial reports.
My computer fell asleep, hang on a second.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yours is so dark.
Okay, so at this point, we're 75% through the school year. Our revenues are at 89.74%. Expenditures are at 73.77. So we're in pretty good shape for this time of the year overall. As far as accounts that stick out the most at this point, again, transportation and Social Security, as well as IMRF, those are a little bit low on the revenue side, and that's because we still have an ADF payment that we're expecting to come in soon. Once that does come in, that percentage will change drastically. But overall, as far as at this point in the school year, we're about where we should be.
That's our last payment, you said, of the year,
Yeah,
basically.
we
Our
still
last
have
major.
another ADF payment, yeah.
All right,
You good?
I'll make a motion to accept the financial report.
One second.
Roll call, please, when you're ready.
Yes, McLaughlin,
Yes.
Bernadoni,
Yes.
Konzak,
Yes.
Riddick,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Gans, yes. Zimmer,
Yes. Can I interrupt for 1 second? The parent,
Teacher advisory?
who was that? Was Sarah and Jared?
Parent teachers,
No.
Sarah and I.
Sorry.
Just any questions on the administrative report?
New student empire. I do not have any questions. Anyone else think of
No,
anything?
it's pretty straightforward. So.
Any questions on the athletic director report?
Sounds like both are great. But no questions.
Yeah, did they have the bowling tournament, the state tournament yet, or is that this weekend?
It's coming soon.
Okay, I couldn't remember when it was. All right.
Can I have a motion to approve?
A motion.
I'll second.
Oh, we don't have to approve those.
I need a thing that says next to my name. Have to be motion that.
Discussion items.
15C is already done.
Oh, committee reports. Yeah, we didn't do committee reports.
Well, what we've had so far with the insurance,
Oh, yeah.
and then we met on April 7th as the insurance committee, discussed a lot of different options. Good, fruitful discussion. We'll have another meeting coming up in June, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And we'll have some additional information that will shed some more light on this subject. It's difficult to do that now.
I think you need to speak up just a little bit for the back. Yeah.
Okay, so just the insurance committee and then, yeah, we're gonna meet again. And then it makes sense then.
Okay.
Okay, moving down to discussion items. I'm gonna lead us on the vote.
So at this point, we are on chapter 11 and 12 of the art of school boarding. For those of you that have been with us, so far this year, we have been doing a book study at the board level on the book titled The Art of School Boarding. Each of us has a copy of the book. Tonight's chapters are 11 and 12, and we're going to go around and just share one or two things that stuck out to them regarding what they've read in those two chapters. And the thing that stood out to me the most in these two chapters were the fact that it talks about that it's all about relationships, and that we are in the relationship business. We are definitely in the relationship business, and I like those two comments that stood out to me in those two chapters. We'll do this one. Go ahead, Nick.
Well, yeah, I mean, I got a lot from this chapter, or these two chapters, chapters 11 and 12. I think Jim Burgett does a great job of just explaining things that I think every board member needs to know and needs to follow and adhere to. And I mean, I actually pulled away like 7 things from these two chapters. You know, the first one is trust must be earned. Burgett says trust is a vital component in every relationship, professional or personal. It's the cornerstone that every bond we establish as we work to develop a connection and understanding of the needs and wants of those we have the privilege of dealing with on a daily basis. You know, what I took from that is board members need to earn the community's trust, but the superintendent must earn the board's and staff's trust. Trust isn't earned, all parties become skeptical and disengaged with each other, leading to a lack of cooperation and support. You know, obviously, as board members, we need to know the second point is who makes the decisions, right? And Burgett says at various times in life of the school board, it is important to establish an agreement or confirm previous ones regarding who makes what decisions, the board or the superintendent. The superintendent was careful to point out on an ongoing basis, this is a board decision or this is my decision. Some decisions are for the board, others are for administration. We must be clear on this to avoid micromanaging. The superintendent can guide us on these decisions and help us create those boundaries when needed. Knowing if those decision boundaries are blurred, it can lead to confusion, inefficiency, conflict, undermining effectiveness, and credibility for all. Obviously, there's 2 different roles here. We have the superintendent, we have the school board, and that was one of the things that he said as well. He goes, when disagreements among board members or between the superintendent and board members exist, they need to be put into context. Disagreements are needed at times. This discourse needs to be professional to the point, keeping the conversation civil and controlled, promoting a good conversation, keeping personal issues or personalities out of the disagreement is important. Sometimes it is okay to agree to disagree. Disagreement should be professional and focused. We must move forward without undermining decisions. If disagreements become personal or unprofessional, they can create a toxic environment, hinder progress, and damage relationships. A couple other things was policy versus administration. We have to understand the difference between policy and its day-to-day application. You know, we are a school board member for a few hours a month, so we have to be careful what we say and what we write. Administrators run the district and need our support as the board. We cannot, we can ask questions, but should not undermine leadership. A lot of times school boards, you know, and we're fortunate here where we have people who work in many different fields, some of which are education, some are in leadership roles in their own organizations, people who are certified teachers in the state of Illinois, certified administrators, those types of things. We're very fortunate in regards to that on our board. But we need to make sure that we don't interfere with administration because it leads to mistrust, inefficiency, and a breakdown in the proper functioning of the school district. Obviously, another point he made that was really clear was the chain of command. And he says every well-run school district has a chain of command. Bad school board members never get it. It's elusive. Once you lose it or forget it, mayhem generally ensues. It's on page 100. So what I took from that is we need to know our role and direct people to the proper channels. Only get involved after all other options are exhausted. If the chain of command is ignored, it can result in chaos, miscommunication, and a lack of accountability, disrupting the district's operations. 6 talked a little bit about loyalty, and he says, under no circumstance should a school board member become a mole or a conduit of information for outside groups working against the system. Once elected to the school board, you become part of a team. Loyalty is not conformity. It is the gracious attitude of being a learner, a partner, one who communicates, and a person who recognizes the purpose of the position. You can offer suggestions, work for change, introduce ideas, propose challenges, but all should be done professionally and honestly. And that's on page 105. You know, and I think, and I took from that, that after decisions are made, we need to set aside the disagreements from the boards and the school, for the boards and the school's benefit. We need to keep confidential information confidential to, you know, prevent any harm to any individuals. And if loyalty is compromised, it can lead to mistrust, leaks of confidential information, and a fractured board, ultimately harming the school district. And the thing that I think was the most important after all of that was he talks a little bit about legacy, and your legacy is what people remember about you. Sometimes it gets better with time because the good outweighs the bad, and people's memories are very forgiving. Unless, of course, you have earned the right to be remembered as a lousy teacher, a bad parent, a mean neighbor, or an abusive human. And it's on page 107. I think the thing that we have to remember as a board and leadership is that we choose how we are remembered. We must work together to create a positive legacy for the board and for this school. If the board fails to work together, it can leave a negative legacy remembered for conflict and inefficiency rather than positive contributions to the school and the community. And I know I was a little long-winded on that, but in my time on the board here in the past year, you know, I feel that this speaks to where we are as a group right now. And I think that, you know, we are at a pivotal moment in which we are able to kind of right the ship and be effective and efficient and really make this a special place, because it is, right? And we want a school and an educational system here in Tonica that people can be proud of, right? And it starts really with the leadership from Bob and our administrative team, and then also the leadership from here with the board. And so I think we just need to really work together and, you know, grow together as well.
Thank you.
Relationships. All the relationships with community, teachers, administration, everything I hear that as relationships.
Thank you.
Yeah, these 2 chapters were a lot, and I really liked in chapter 12 where he went through the different people that were unforgettable board members, and especially the last one where he listed out the personality traits of the woman. And number 3, she just talked about how she would always say, like, when she wasn't afraid to change her mind, and then when she made a decision, she said, I think this is in the best interest of the kids. And I feel like we are at a point where with everything that's going on, we need to make sure that we keep the best interest of the kids at the forefront and let that be our driver.
One little bit I noted was at the end of chapter 11, so it makes the decisions. Little bit here. It says, one agreement that the board and superintendent had discussed early in their work together was this: the superintendent could make staffing decisions, in this case, adding new staff, as long as the budget was balanced. If the addition of a math teacher at the middle school would cause the budget to become deficit, the superintendent would have to take that decision to the board. And it occurred to me, I had never imagined that that's a discussion that we could have together as a board about that kind of decision-making allocation. We can do that. And it just gave me ideas.
Thank you.
I mean, Nick covered a vast majority of the 2 chapters. But yeah, the chain of command part, making sure we follow that, make sure that when someone approaches us with comments, we direct them to the right person. Because like us individually, we can't really do anything individually. It's a team effort, and it needs to go through the administration. And then I guess just reading through it, just reflecting on my first year on the board, I've asked a ton of questions to Bob and to everybody. So I appreciate his responding to them, and I think that is what helps you learn and become a better member, is to ask questions.
I don't know if I can add to what everybody has. I think everybody cleared it, but yeah, I'm a big question person. If being able to ask out questions is very, very helpful. I like both chapters.
16B, review and.
Julie.
Oh, I'm sorry, Julie. I apologize.
I was just gonna say that on page 105, it says loyalty is the main characteristic of a good board. Loyalty is not conformity, it is a gracious attitude of being a learner, a partner, and one who communicates, and one person who recognizes the purpose of the position. I like that, right?
Thank you. 16B, review and reaffirm support for board meeting norms and agreements. These are linked into your agenda as well. These are something we worked on some time ago, and this isn't a vote tonight, just to understand that we're reaffirming our support for these 2 documents. There's a copy of one of those on the table as well as just a reminder. I try to have that out to you as well for the sake of reminding us. Letter C, amending the FY25 school budget. And so at this, getting close at this time of year is when I'm analyzing as to whether it is necessary to amend the budget. I do anticipate that us amending the budget, there was a little bit of a process, and it's very similar to the process that we used at the beginning of the year when we adopted a budget. And so there's some timelines involved that I'll need to follow to make sure that things are done on time. I will keep you updated and informed on those things as well.
Yeah, this is one I asked Bob about last year, because there's a state statute that's kind of vague, and if you have to or not, and it kind of goes back and forth, but it's not really out of the ordinary, but basically if you go over in a fund, you're supposed to amend it to make it clear, and it's a paperwork thing. Somewhat, yeah, but it's not like we're crazy over budget. It's just to make it that we approve that we're going over slightly in certain areas potentially. So.
The 25-26 extracurricular co-op handbook. This is a first reading. Again, that is linked in your agenda as well. This is again a first reading. There's really only a couple of minor change as far as language in there, and we'll again see this again in May along with the student handbook for adoption in May. Letter E, moving the junior high. So I'm going to read a prepared statement regarding moving the junior high. The board will have an opportunity to provide any comment afterwards. And then after the board's done, if the public wants to comment, they can certainly do that as well. Teachers moving classrooms is not a new phenomenon, as it is a fairly frequent occurrence in schools for a variety of reasons. Moving the junior high into the elementary wing of our small K-8 school fosters a stronger sense of community, a continuity among students and staff. The junior high wing of the building can be utilized for large group activities, STEM, and enrichment opportunities for students. This move allows for a more efficient use of shared spaces and resources and enhances collaboration. Proximity between grade levels also supports smoother academic transitions and mentoring opportunities between older and younger students. Ultimately, this move strengthens our school culture while maximizing our building's potential. Number one, fostering leadership and mentorship. With current enrollment at approximately 92 and a projected enrollment of 85 to begin the 25-26 school year, we have plenty of space to accommodate all students in the elementary wing of the building. The junior high students will have an opportunity to take on leadership roles such as mentoring younger students, rebuilding strong big brother, big sister relationships. This offers a great chance for a positive social development and student engagement. Consolidating K-8 into one location fosters a stronger sense of unity and community, allowing for a more cohesive educational experience across all grade levels. The junior high team, together with the elementary teachers in a shared space, will enhance collaboration, reduce isolation, and create a more supportive teaching environment. Introducing new staff to the junior high provides the chance to optimize classroom space, and teachers can be reassigned to more modern, well-equipped learning environments. Centrally locating instruction will enhance the effectiveness and utilization of our special education teacher by allowing more efficient support across classrooms and improved collaboration with general education staff. Number 2, facility upgrade and space utilization. The old home ec room, with its unique layout, presents an exciting opportunity to create a dynamic makerspace, enhancing hands-on learning experiences for RTI enrichment students. The science lab can still be utilized for K-8 science experiments as well as large group activities. The small gym/stage will serve multiple purposes, including large group activities, student performances, and indoor recess. Number 3, additional considerations. A new hot water boiler unit that is capable of having air conditioning added to it will cost approximately $150,000.
So just to be clear, this is not things we have to spend to move the teachers. This is things we're looking into spending money on for the students and the teachers.
And have been in the strategic plan.
Yes, and have been in the strategic plan.
Upgrades to the electrical capacity will have to be addressed, and the price for that is to be determined. New energy efficient windows throughout the elementary end of the building will cost approximately $850,000 to $1 million. This cost does not include asbestos removal, of which I'm certain there will be asbestos. Moving to a more accessible portion of our building will move the building closer to being ADA compliant, ensuring that all students, including those with mobility challenges, have equal access to all facilities. The junior high wing ADA compliance will cost approximately, the elementary wing of the building to be ADA compliant will cost approximately $50,000. And the elementary wing to get it ADA, the junior high wing will cost approximately $80,000 to $100,000 to get it ADA compliant. That does not include the electrical work that would have to be done with that as well. If an upgrade to the science lab is necessary, that cost will cost approximately $300,000 to $400,000. This transition represents a thoughtful and strategic investment in our school's future. By uniting K-8 students and a shared staff in a shared space, we are strengthening our sense of community, enhancing academic support, and creating more meaningful leadership opportunities for our junior high students. The planned facility upgrades will ensure our learning environments are modern, accessible, and well-equipped for the 21st century education. Ultimately, this move allows us to maximize the potential of our building while fostering a more cohesive and supportive educational experience for all. At this point, if the board has any comment, we will have time for comment from the board.
Do you guys want to have comments first? We have some
Yeah.
letters to read if you guys.
I can go first. My thoughts on this are that this is a building decision. The administration, 3 experienced administrators collaborated, and this decision wasn't made overnight. I trust their judgment. That being said, I'm very disappointed with what's gotten us to this point. There are many ways to handle disagreements, and it seems all of this was thrown out the window with an anonymous flyer that arrived at some villagers' homes in the mail. The fact that there was no name, no indication who sent it, tells me that the coward who sent it did not truly know all the facts. The flyer was not accurate, but has since caused a stir in the community, as evident by everyone here and our local media. There's been so much misinformation echoed and dispensed, it's very frustrating. The truth is, this board has worked to be more transparent. Many of the plans listed have been public knowledge and in the strategic plan for years. ADA compliance is not new, but necessary to ensure equal access for all children and adults. We want to make TGS a great school, so if you disagree, then come with constructive ideas to help instead of spreading misinformation and doubt. The flyer purported to save TGS, but in reality, it did more harm than good. The school's reputation took an unnecessary hit. So the next time someone on the board, in the community, or anywhere disagrees, please think before you act or comment in public. Ask if this will really help the path forward at TGS. Bring up your concerns to the appropriate parties. Whoever sent the flyer spent a couple $100s on this. That money would have been better spent with a donation to the foundation or working with the village to send a flyer out to promote the community. I know that many people care deeply about the school, but we need to work together, be constructive, ask questions in the right way, and work towards a common goal, not try to cause chaos and problems for everyone involved.
Anyone else want to speak before the?
I would also like to add, in regards to echo what Matt has said, sometimes when you are in building leadership, an administrator, you have to make decisions that are in the best interest of the entire school, and sometimes that is unpopular amongst teachers, community members, etc., right? But we can't forget that this is not a board level decision. This is strictly an administrative led decision. We hire administration, specifically a superintendent, to oversee the day-to-day operations of the school. It is not our job to micromanage them to a point. Now, we can have constructive conversations, we can have things like that to be able to have dialogue, to be transparent, right? But what happens when we don't unite, we don't stick together, and we go and create our own narratives, we have things like an anonymous postcard going out to our communities, which once again is another black mark on the school district. I believe that many people on this board spend a lot of time making sure that we're in compliance, learning as much as we can, collaborating together. And I think all of us are here for the best interests of our school, right? And I think the thing that really upset me in regards to this flyer and the term Save TGS is it's a complete fabrication of the truth. No building is closing, right? The school is not closing, and it was misrepresented that we were closing the school. Conica needs to have the school. I think everyone on this board thinks that that is not going to change anytime soon. We value this school. We just want to make sure that we have an equitable learning environment for all students and that we're compliant with regulations from state, local, and federal government.
Okay. We have a couple letters that were requested be read, and then I'll say something after that. I'll go first. Conica Grade School Board members, I'm writing to you to support the decision made by the administration to move the junior high students to the elementary wing. That is a building level decision and a basic one at that. What room kids are taught in is a decision made by an administrator, and when you boil this down, that's all it is. Second and far more troubling issue that is concerning is the continued disruptive behavior by one of your members. Said person has obviously been trying to undermine the administration and board's decisions to move the students to a different part of the building. When I left the board last fall, I warned of board members' failure to differentiate relationships with staff as a board member and his friends. Unfortunately, that relationship has continued to be detrimental to the district. The leaked executive session topics went directly to staff last month, coupled with this uproar in the community, definitely is a direct result of board members' lack of integrity as a board member. The person organizing a meeting with the community and publicly questioning the administration and board decision is another indication of board members' lack of morals and integrity. In my 15 plus years involved with TGS, I've never witnessed a blatant disregard for the well-being of the district as a whole. I am asking the other 6 of you, along with Mr. Ketchum, to formally ask for the board member's resignation. Board member does not have it in him to do what is right, as behavior shows, so it must come from the rest of the board and administration. Part of the oath of office, as board member states, I shall abide by majority decisions of the board. while retaining the right to seek changes in such decisions through ethical and constructive channels. Causing strife within the community and spreading false information is not ethical nor constructive. The board member has clearly, without a shadow of a doubt, broken an oath and should be removed immediately. TGS cannot continue to fall into the same traps as a result of this behavior. I am requesting this be read in open session as part of the board correspondence so the public can hear what the root problem of the situation as well as others is. Regards, Rich Fundell, former board member and president.
No. Greetings, I personally will not be able to be at the next board meeting due to her higher obligations, but I would like this read as I do have a point to bring to the table. Last week, there was pure chaos in the community's social media page. While I do think everyone in the community should have a say, I do not believe it should just be to stir things up and to cause chaos, especially when it seems like things are on said post were blown out of proportion and nothing is set in stone. I do not believe that the board member's spouse or significant others should be there doing just that. If it would have been asked about timelines and such, sure, but said spouse was there to cause chaos because they didn't agree with some of the ideas. This puts our town, community, and school in a bad light. We all know we need to improve enrollment numbers in this school, but who would want to move their kids to this school district when even a board member's spouse is on social media blasting the administration and board? I know I wouldn't want to be looking to move here. That is why I'm calling for the resignation of said board member. I do not believe this is a proper behavior from a board or their spouses. Best regards, Dexter.
Hello, TGS Board, Mr. Ketchum. I write tonight in support of the administration's decision to have the junior high move down to the elementary wing. The letter presented by the district outlines well the reasons for the move. In all honesty, I know that my opinion is not needed for this move. Most people's opinions are not necessary. My family has been a part of TGS since 2005 when my oldest daughter started 3-year-old preschool there. I myself went to TGS from 1984 to 1993. This current situation regarding the junior high is an admin level decision. It is my understanding that other viewpoints were taken into consideration already, as well as the board supports the decision 6-1 in the straw poll. The decision can be made. It does not need staff approval. The viewpoints that are cluttering up the situation stem from an anonymous flyer, a misinformed public, and a board member that feels their agenda trumps supporting the board decision. That is a direct violation of the oath taken. My wife and I were always involved at TGS. She was on the PTC and involved in coaching. I was on the board from 2015 to 2021. We loved the school. However, an ever-increasing drama by staff wanting to run the school became too much distraction from the school being everything it could be. Let the board hire the admin run the school, and the staff teach the kids. Since 2015, there have been 4 administrations, and TGS is currently working on their 5th. The school board has constantly changed members in this time. However, whenever an issue arises, the administration and or school board is blamed. We all remember the open gym issue, what a train wreck that never had to be. Anonymous flyers, rogue board members, or any public that spread misinformed rumors will never help Tonic to be the school that it can be. In fact, it does quite the opposite and puts Tonic in bad light with declining enrollment. Throw the flyer away, ask the board member to resign, and also be transparent with everyone when possible. Al Lutton.
Anyone else?
You want to read? No, you need to read your.
Yeah, a second.
I just want to say that I've been on the buildings and grounds since, I don't know, but I'm the only one still left standing because it was Matt Lance, Chuck Schneider, and Todd Frumpinsky and myself that were on the original. And we had a huge floor plan that talked about it, and he had said, Matt had said that in order for us to move forward, we kind of needed to move everyone down to the west wing, and that was 5 years ago. And so I've asked since then that we have Matt Lance come, and I think that maybe we're gonna try to get him next month to come, and he can reiterate all that stuff so that everyone's on the same page, because I'm the only one that's still in buildings and grounds from the first go around.
Anyone else?
I just feel like we need to keep in mind that everything that's going on is pushing people away from our school. I've talked to a couple different people that have incoming kindergartners, and they are probably gonna go private because of what's going on here, and that's the last thing we need. And we're gonna have to work really, really hard now to move the needle the other direction, and it really didn't need to happen. And I'm just really, really tired of these same discussions over and over and over, talking about private school and why people are going there versus here, and I'm just ready to look forward and not back.
So at this point, we'll have public comment. Before we have that, Jennifer will have a statement.
All right, we just did an amazing walkthrough. We all saw this building. We all saw the potential this building has. We have a list of things we want to do with this building, and we want your input on it. That is what we can control, is moving forward and having a building we can build back out. Not all schools can be built back out. So let's focus on curriculum, let's focus on the kids, let's focus on the buildings, and let's do what we can. And I want everyone's input. That being said, I'm going to read this. So it's the board, public participation at Board of Education meetings and petition to the board. For a maximum of 30 minutes during each regular and special open meeting of the board, any person may comment to or ask questions of the board if they signed in and indicated their desire. I took this at the beginning of the thing. If you need to fill it out, I'll bring it back around.
There's a second deeper.
Okay, I'll grab it. And located, listed the subject matter. Just put the subject matter. Subject to the reasonable constraints established and recorded in this policy guidelines below. The timeline for public participation at this meeting may be extended upon a majority vote of the board members at the regular or special meeting. The board listens to comments or questions during public participation. We will not be responding. To preserve sufficient time for the board to conduct its business, any person appearing before the board is expected to follow these guidelines. Number one, address the board only at the appropriate time as indicated on the agenda and when recognized by the board's president. This includes following the directives of the board president to maintain order and decorum for all. Use the sign-in sheet if requested. Understand that the board may not immediately respond to questions or comment. We reserve the right to not engage with the speaker and may direct the superintendent to provide a response at a later time. Please identify yourself and be brief. Ordinarily, the time for any one person to address the board during public participation may be limited to 5 minutes. And then, if in unusual circumstances and when the individual has made a request to speak for a long period of time, the board president may allow a person to speak for more than 5 minutes. We have a lot, I didn't look to see it, there's a lot of people we'll have to see. If multiple individuals wish to address the board on the same subject, the group is encouraged to appoint a spokesperson. 5, observe when necessary and appropriate the board president's authority to shorten the time for each person to address the board during public participation and conserve time and give the maximum number of people an opportunity to speak, and or determine procedural matters regarding public participation not otherwise covered in board policy. 6, please conduct oneself with respect and civility towards others and otherwise abide by board policy 830. Visitors to and conduct on school property. Petitions or written correspondence to the board shall be presented to the board in the next regular board packet. Can I go in? Does Tracy want to speak on behalf of this PowerPoint first? Or should I? You don't have any. We want, Tracy Malcolm is going to talk on the PowerPoint, but we don't have the verbal communication. So my apologies, but we'll get back to, we'll come back to that. How many sheets are there?
I thought there was 2.
Okay.
The back of the one.
All right, so topic, okay. Carly,
I'm sorry, can I speak first? They said it was okay.
if you would like.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna move over here. My name is Pam Schneider, for those of you that don't know, I'm a junior high math and science teacher here. I'm just gonna be real honest with you. If it was just about me, or it was just about moving, I'd be packing my stuff now and moving. The thought of not being by myself, the thought of being closer to a copier, and the thought of being closer to a bathroom, hallelujah. But it's not about me. It's about those junior high kids. And I was here when Mrs. Malcolm sat down in the 7th grade and 8th grade class, and she said, tell me what worked for you at TGS and what hasn't. And I listened to her for over an hour, and I heard about what was taken from them since they became junior high or going to junior high. So as much as that would be best for me, best for Pam Schneider, I know that's something else that the junior high kids are going to lose. And you know what? Their mental health matters. I've talked to Mr. Hector about this personally, because the kids this year wanted to know if I was returning, because they had had so much uproar the last couple of years. And I said, yes. He goes, why would you tell them? It's none of their business. I said, because their mental health matters. Their mental health matters. Do you want to move to junior high? No, she's a junior high student. Have we talked to the junior high students? That's what I want to do. These kids, you know what? They lost the bleacher in the morning. They cannot sit on the other side. It sounds so dumb to you and I, right? But for them, that was a rite of passage. When they got to 6th grade, they got to go to the other side of the gym, hold the bleachers up, and sit there. Not this year. Nope. All of us are back with the elementary. You know what? Playing kickball, having PE a certain way, was a rite of passage. Taken away from them this year. And all I see is this is something else taken away from our kids. That's what I see. Everybody's sitting here blaming this person, blaming that person, saying it's admin, saying it's this. Who's talking about the kids? Who's worrying about the kids? Their mental health matters. And I think that should be number one. Thank you.
Since it moved the microphone, that's a lot. Okay,
Yeah, you're allowed.
all right. So, my name is Carly Skinner. For those of you who may not know me, I'm a 4th grade teacher here at TGS. I'm about to complete my 13th year here. In addition to being a parent of attending students, that's one little guy coming on the way, plus my teaching duties, I have taken on the role of union president this year. I'm speaking to you now as the union president. On April 2nd, we came together as a union and we wrote a letter, and we all signed a letter saying that we were not for this move. I understand it's a management decision. I'm just reading my letter so I can stay on track. So to whom it may be concerned, the union has recently been informed that the administration is considering a major change to the school building layout. We want to clarify that this idea was briefly mentioned months ago, but there was no formal discussion, or vote, or decisions made. We strongly oppose the proposal to close the junior high section and relocate those students to the elementary wings. This decision could create significant challenges for students and staff. Currently, the school has just under 100 students, and moving all of them into a space being utilized by only half of that number will lead to overcrowding and disruption. Junior high and elementary students have different behavioral tendencies, and combining them in one area could negatively impact both groups. Junior high students tend to be louder and more energetic in classes, which can set an example for younger students that does not align with the behavior expectations. For example, on March 14th, an elementary student copied a junior high student who jumped and touched the glass above the doorway. Even after being asked to stop, other students continued the behavior in succession. Such incidents would likely become more frequent if the two age groups were in the same space. Not junior high school, they should be able to be kids. They shouldn't have to act like a little. It's not that we don't want them, because we love them just as much. Being a K-8 building, the students look forward to the rite of passage of transitioning to the opposite end of the building. This transition gives students a sense of independence and responsibility, similar to students in larger districts moving into a separate junior high building. The ability to switch classes with access to both the downstairs and upstairs area is something junior high students look forward to and benefit from academically and socially. Additionally, there's already concern within the community about the direction of the school. Closing the junior high wing can send a message that the school is in decline, leading families to reconsider their current commitment and deter new families from enrollment. If families think that grade levels will be combined or space restricted, they may seek other educational options. There's a well-known saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. Our school building is an important asset, and leaving parts of it unused could lead to deterioration and expensive repairs. If this move is intended to improve efficiency, the long-term cost of maintaining an unused section of the building must be considered. The financial savings from this change are unlikely to outweigh the negative consequences for students. As we look forward to a positive year ahead, the proposed changes to our school will make that difficult. Many of us have carefully designed our classrooms to support our teaching styles and student learning, investing significant time and personal resources. If teachers are required to relocate, the district will need to allocate additional funds to ensure the classrooms meet current standards, including storage, whiteboards, and display areas for instructional materials. These essential resources directly impact effective teaching and should not be compromised. Additionally, these updates will increase the workload for our custodial staff, who are already operating on a tight summer schedule. Finally, with so many new staff members to our school, our priority should be becoming familiar with newly purchased curriculum and improving current curriculum and instruction, not dealing with unnecessary instructions. While we recognize that some adjustments to classroom locations may be necessary, we firmly oppose the culture and relocation of the junior high section. We urge administration to reconsider this decision and involve staff in meaningful discussions to better solutions for the future of our school. Respectfully, and signed by. So.
Becky, I think you're up.
I'm Becky Thompson. I am a parent of a fourth grader. I had one graduate last year. She got to experience the whole junior high thing. I'm just concerned, as the question I have is when we move them down there, they're still going to have that junior high experience where they're moving classes, going to their locker and having to be class time. Because when you get thrown to LP, that's what you have to do. And I think they need that experience going from a school of 92 to a school of 1,400 is scary. And we're going to lose that by not having that isolation and being able to move. So is that in the plans? I've read everything I've seen. Are they still going to switch classes when we're all down there, or are they in the same classroom all day? That's just my question. That's why I came forward today to see what's the plan when we move down there. How are we going to teach the junior high kids? I got 2 years.
Becky, there are plans to have passing periods still so they can transition with that.
There is. Okay, that's my main thing. I know the world changes. I work in healthcare. It changes every day. Because we work, we got to do something different. So I totally understand that. But I just wanted to know, because my kids still have this junior high experience, so we're prepared for LP.
Yeah.
You won't believe LP is a total different world as we learn it.
Tracy, when you're ready.
When I read it, like, there's still gonna change classes, but what do you want to do for the difference? So I don't know if we're gonna have like a time management thing we're going to do. That's just what I read, and what we have that say.
My name is Tracy Lee. I am proud to see this many people in this room, and I am proud that our community is reacting so strongly to this topic. It shows how much strength and passion we have for our town, and it shows how much we understand that our school is the key to the future and present success of Tonka. I am here as a concerned parent and community member. Even though I happen to be married to a board member, I'm speaking my personal opinion, and I feel I have every right to do so. I don't know if it's on Facebook, but insinuating that I am a mouthpiece for my husband or that he should have somehow kept me quiet is disrespectful to every married person in this room, especially the women, because I feel confident that accusation would not have been made were our rules to apply. I moved to Tonka in 2019 and I fell in love with the school and my neighbors. I'm a property owner in town and I hope to see my kids raise their kids here someday too. I also elected each of you board members with the assumption that you look out for our school as a fellow community member.
In the current strategic plan, the Board of Education belief statement for the role of community states, quote, "We believe it is imperative that our school and the community have a strong partnership and seek opportunities for collaboration to meet the needs of the community and challenges of education." End quote. I'm personally unconvinced that this change is meeting the needs of our community, mainly because I trust leaders who make decisions with collaboration and transparency more than I trust leaders who make secretive decisions in a vacuum. I think that everyone in this room realizes something will need to change, but brainstorming and planning something huge like this should be done with the teachers, all the staff, but teachers. Why not ask the PTC or the foundation for resources and ideas? It looks like maybe that might have happened at PTC, I'm not sure, or the foundation. We have a lot of questions because we care about for our kids and their social and academic experiences at TGS. But why didn't something like that happen months ago with the teachers? Why? I think it's absolutely great that we had a walkthrough just now that included the community. But why did something like that happen months ago with the teachers? Why are we doing this a month before a new principal starts? Why did parents and 3 board members sit around in a bar brainstorming the best way forward? Those questions make it obvious that the details for this plan are unclear and under-realized, and that the right people were not at the table when the planning happened. My greatest concern here is that this isn't being done with the strength in the strongest and best way possible. AD compliance is real, and so are low enrollments. I spoke with many of you last week at the bar, and each of you told me that you were going to back administration despite whatever doubts you might have individually. This community has skin in this game, and these administrators don't. When there is this much doubt in the community and teachers, backing administration becomes turning their back on the community. If board members choose to show their allegiance to our community rather than back administration, the story we tell after this does not have to be TGS board undercuts administrative authority. The story we tell after this can be and should be TGS community stands strong and keep the school strong. That's a story of community strength, and that's one that tells prospective families that we will back each other and our families. Please help us write a story about the strength of Tonic and how its residents, board members included, will do what's right for our kids and the future of our town. Your hands are not tied here. Please ask the administration to delay the implementation of this idea until proper collaborative planning takes place.
Thank you, everyone.
There's one on the back, is there?
Marina, did you want to speak or you just put signing in?
Sign in, but, just a couple words.
Yeah.
So I've been here a long time, 2 years, and one of the topics that I want to bring up, you guys have been doing a lot of this chain of command. 31, maybe going 31 years now. This chain of command was adapted, what, 2 or 3 years ago? We never had it before, never. We didn't, I don't think things would run very well without it. I feel like this is something that is causing, there's a blockage there somewhere. Communication between the staff, students, board, because you guys are the bridge to the community, to the staff, to the students. Somehow we can't get across that, and I believe that gentleman is preventing that. One of the things about ADA on your list in there, when we had life skills back in the day, I remember 5 students, walkers, wheelchairs. We built a ramp. There was a talk about an elevator. Back then, I believe the board was even strong, or our school, our district was strong financially. We were fine compliance. We don't have anybody with disability now. For that to even be considered, that was irresponsible of the board to even discuss that financially, in my opinion. So, that being said, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, sorry, I was a little late and I didn't know the time and everything.
Sure.
Yeah. My name is Susan Moore, and I'm here and for children, not even just the junior high kids, but the kids who are looking forward to growing up and getting that junior high experience and being prepared for high school, like you said. And we sit here and
we heard all of your guys' side, and I feel like, you did give a lot of information which wasn't given before. Just in my personal, opinion, I did not think that the whole, flyer created an uproar for me, like I wouldn't be here if I didn't get it. And I wouldn't have been able to hear your guys' side, you know? But I am here, I have a kid, and you know, I would like to look forward into letting her go here. And it does suck to say that, you know, I have her, and she's out of 8th grade, and everything goes to how it's supposed to go, where you're basically kind of setting back these kids. There's not the maturity level for these kids, for them to grow up, and for them to know that they have to be a little bit more responsible, and to kind of almost have that, like, well, you know, kind of straighten up, you know? Now it's time to get a little bit serious, because you're getting ready to go into high school, and you guys have your whole life, right? That's the fun side. I'm sorry, I don't mean to say it like for you teachers, but that's the fun side. That's the side that, you know, that you get to have all those great experiences. This is the side that's a little bit intimidating, you know? Before, these kids had to change for PE, now you don't change because $22 or $11 is too much for someone to spend on a PE shirt. I don't know, but there's a lot of just things I feel like that have. I apologize. Yes, there has been a lot of changes that we talked about as well. You know, we've seen even just. Well, my mother-in-law came here, my husband came here. I was born and raised in Chicago. I even worked in junior high for special ed children in Chicago as well. And like I said, now we have my daughter here as well. But as I look, I feel like as I look over here, it's like, you know, we have this, it's almost as if there's an upsetness that people are here to say what they have to say. Like, a decision has already been made, but like I said, I would have had no idea what was going on with any of this. And I watched a few of your guys' board meetings as well, online on YouTube. But I would not have known any of that had I not gotten a flyer. And I don't think that there's really too much information within there. I didn't think our school was closing down. I felt like that phrase that was said was like, hey, we gotta get in there, we gotta say what we gotta say, because if not, they're gonna make this decision without us. So yeah, that's apologize to just run out, but this one's starting to get cranky, and I don't want her to like whine and that ruins the whole meeting.
One of your daughters signed you in. Okay, we're gonna move on to 18 action items. There's some motions here. Motion, do we have any questions on the consolidation district plan? I believe this is something we motion on every year. Then we have the IDSA dues, that change, anything change on that? On what we said?
We need to hold on the first one.
Okay, so any questions on the consolidation district plan? Pretty straightforward. Can I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Roll call?
Bernadone,
Yeah.
Conzak,
Yes.
Riddick,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Gans, yes, Zimmer,
Yes.
McLaughlin.
Yes.
IDSA dues for the 2025-2026 school year. Can I have a motion for that?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Conzak,
Yeah.
Riddick,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Gans, yes, Zimmer,
Yes.
McLaughlin.
Yes.
Bernadone.
Yes.
C, motion to approve the contract with the Learning Technology Center for 2025-2026 year. That's continuing to be beneficial.
Yes, this would be the organization that Amy Graham works for.
Okay. We have a motion to continue with Amy.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Burdick.
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Gantz, yes. Zimmer.
Yes.
McLaughlin.
Yes.
Bernadoni. Contact.
Yes. Motion to set the amended budget hearing for June 18th, 2025. That's our next meeting, correct?
No, we have a May.
We have it separate? May, June, okay. I do want to talk about May's meeting. That's what May's meeting is. But do we have a motion to do that June 18th, 2025?
No motion.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Olson.
Yes.
Gantz, yes. Zimmer.
Yes.
McLaughlin.
Yes.
Bernadoni. Contact.
Yes.
Burdick.
Yes.
Motion to give superintendent permission to spend money between July 1st and budget adoption. This is standard.
All motion.
Roll call?
Gantz, yes. Zimmer.
Yes.
McLaughlin.
Yes.
Bernadoni. Contact.
Yes.
Burdick.
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
We are gonna go to executive session for, no, you read off. Executive session for the purpose of employment compensation. Can I have a motion for that?
Motion.
Second.
7:04 PM.
Okay.
We're gonna adjourn to the library and then we'll be back.
All right. Zimmer.
Yes.
McLaughlin.
Yes.
Bernadoni.
Yes.
Contact.
Yes.
Burdick.
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Gantz. Yes.
Yeah.
Board member,
Um,
bring your folders.
They're asking if there's gonna be action after.
Yes.
Yes.
One action.
And then, future agenda items.
Make sure you bring your folders.
Not yet. I'm shutting it off right now.